So I waited because the carpet guys are here, and the little pukes that lived above me moved out, so they're up there redoing the fucking they're redoing the carpet and banging and clanging up there. So I'm hoping to get a little of this live stream done. I waited for a couple minutes to see like if they were gonna roll out. They've been here for a couple hours, but I said, you know what? I'm not gonna miss out on podcasting and live streaming just because of a little fucking carpet. Stop it with the carpet. I got my coffee here. I got my Christmas mug. In the entire, it's just me and Melissa. You know what I mean? So we own, one bowl, one pan, maybe 3 or 4 coffee mugs. I wouldn't say that we're minimalists in any sense. However, we just don't like to do dishes. So, if we get up to like 10 cups, I start throwing shit out. I'm institutionalized, so I just need one bowl. I've used the same bowl for the last 10 years. I don't need another bowl. I only need one bowl. Like, who the fuck needs multiple plates and multiple bowls? For some reason, we're always running out of either spoons or forks, and we never really know how that happens. Good morning, Chad. How's it going, dude? I like when Chad shows up. Scott's here. Good, 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 good. As long as I see Scott in the morning, I know everything's gonna be all right. Cause I feel like we started this program with Chad and Scott and Hans. There was nobody else here, so I realized that I feel like we're the program. Listen, can you guys hear that? They're fucking smashing through the roof, the roof. I'm gonna continue, hoping that you guys can't hear it. I've got like some noise cancellation technology, so I'm hoping you guys aren't going to hear it. If you guys wind up hearing all type of banging, I'll just come back tomorrow, whatever. It's all good. Yo, so just quickly, our next show is June 1st at Sammy's Patio. Looking forward to that. In the meantime, there's going to be a couple changes to the Honeycomb Hideout. As you guys know, we're trying really hard to upgrade the audio. The camera, I believe we have a new camera coming already. I told you guys helping out. You guys sending us the stars and all that other shit has been really helping out. You guys that have subscribed to the page, we're going to be doing a lot to get out a ton of behind the scenes content. I think we're ready to release some new music. I think it's time. Even though we really don't have the money to release new music, we just know when it's time, with the summer coming and everything, we want everybody to get some new music. So I know at least our subscribers, our top supporters, people that have been really investing and help curate the band, you guys will have some new music very soon, as well as a ton of behind the scenes footage and content in the Hive. If you guys don't know, the subscribers have another group called the Hive, and in there, that's where we create our music videos. That's where we have our archive of behind the scenes and how we shot our music videos. If you're a member of the Hive, you can go back and look at how we did You Already Know, and you can see how we use the pyrotechnics on Yesterday Isn't Me, and you can go see past band members and feuds and drama and practices and band rehearsals, and you know what I mean? You get to go see the blueprints, the yellow books. You guys get to go see everything and all thing behind the scenes Sepsis. And we're also doing the documentary series coming up soon called Sepsis Overdrive. So you're going to be, people that subscribe and people that tune into us will be able to go over there and be a part of not just watching it being creative, but creating it with us. The people that subscribe and are working with us behind the scenes are our most trusted allies. So we're a small circle, we're a tight circle, but the people over there are some of our most trusted allies in the sense that, like, that's where we get a lot of our truest, realest, valuable feedback. So we appreciate everybody over there. And so just prepare for a ton of content. We are writing the last 2 songs on album 2. We are in the middle of writing the last two tracks. So at some point within the next, excuse me, within the next 12 months, we will probably release our second album. The only thing that will prevent that is like the music industry going through so many changes that we are not we are not sure. Not entirely. We have some ideas, but we're not sure exactly how we want to publish music going into 2025. So next year we have one more year, and then we are going to dissolve our contracts with our record label. This is a very good thing for us. So next year, our contracts with Sony Orchard and all that bullshit will be over. And then our original music will come back to us. At that point, we'll have our entire catalog of music. We really didn't want to release another record until 100% of our catalog was returned to us fully. Because we want to, as a band, we want to decide how we are going to publish and distribute music from here. We don't know, now that we don't have half of our music being released independent and the other half being released on the record label. Just to give you guys an idea of what's going on, or what's been going on for years, is our record label put out our first album 4 years ago, almost 4 years ago. Almost 4 years ago to the day, our record label put out our first record. We had never recorded anything before. So, Sepsis has never released or published, distributed music before 2020. We only had demonstration music and draft music. They are pounding the floor in, you guys. It's driving me fucking crazy. Can you hear that? Like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to take that. I can't stand it. I'm gonna try to ignore it. I really am. It's just very distracting, especially when I'm trying to sound normal. So that was the only record up until that point. We had never organized music before. Me and Melissa didn't really know if we were going to try to make music, for lack of a better word, professionally or not. We really, I was going through a lot. I was, years before that, I was trying to sober up and get my life together and try to make sense out of my personal life. So like music really wasn't a reality for me. I always made music to party or have a good time or express myself. But like up until 2020, we had no plans to release professional music. We were our producer kind of encouraged us to. If we hadn't been contacted, by our producer, then we might never had done it. So our producer and engineer had heard our music and our demos and then sent me an email and was like, hey, listen, if you guys want to start sounding better, I'd love to show you what I could do or whatever. And I didn't believe he was who he said he was. So it kind of, it bugged me out. So originally we told him no, we were like, no thanks. Thanks for the generosity, And he was like, no, it's really me, And then he sent me some proof to show who he was. And I was like, oh, all right, let's do it. And that's why we sound the way that we sound now. It's the composition, Melissa has a unique sounding and I think a special sounding voice. And then, of course, mixing and mastering by our producer. I compose and write the records. Melissa sings them, and Glenn mixes and masters. So that's what we've been doing for these years, and it's proven to be a a good recipe. So that's how he proved it to us. And then, shortly after that, everyone tried to sign us. And then like fools, we signed to a record deal, a really long record deal that we shouldn't have signed. And then we wanted to release more music. We released a record, and a lot of times, people release their first record, they got high expectations. And then, out of that, we were hoping to like be a lot more successful, I guess. Melissa's vocals are like nothing I've ever heard. Hold on a second. That is crazy, all that banging. You hear that?
Yeah, even my person was like, "What's that thumping?" And I'm like, "That's people upstairs." I don't know.
I don't know if I'm gonna keep doing this stream. It's so loud. It's so loud.
It's so loud. Is it cool if I get the same as yesterday for the trees?
Yeah, get whatever you want.
I just want to order it while I do that.
It's fucking loud in here. I don't know.
What the fuck are they doing? Are they like installing a new kitchen?
No, it's carpet.
Oh.
I mean, there's nothing to be done about it. They got to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not sour or anything. It's just part of life. I tell you what, it's fucking annoying though.
It is.
It's all good.
It's gonna be okay.
It's gonna be okay. Anyhow, trying to stay on topic. Long story short, maybe a year after the release, we wanted to release another single. So we sent the record label a single, and they were like, "Wow, we really love the single. Different direction for you guys." That single was "You Already Know." We wrote the single, and we were like, "Hey, just take a listen to it. We just want to do some different things." "You Already Know" is a different song for us. It's not really like how we sound. I wouldn't say it's a strong representation of the band's writing style. However, it does fit in nicely as for a set list, or combining and building set lists. "You Already Know" is a good song for the club and for the stage. Especially if you want to do some different things. That's why it was released as a single. If you notice, there's a few songs that we have that are just singles. They don't belong really to any albums. They're just songs that we had, as opposed to like the songs we have now, like Bleed Lines and Romance. They belong to the second album. I think we'll release one more single before the rest of the collection of the second album is available. But we wound up sending our record label a new song a year after we dropped our album, and they just were not happy that we were writing more music and making more music. They were like, "Why release more music?" And we were like, "'Cause we're bored and we're not as successful as you promised us that we'd be in 2020. So we're like, so we want to release this record because we want to have fun and be musicians." And they just had like a face on. And then they tried to say the song wasn't good enough, for what they wanted to do, and we should go back, and without too much detail or feedback, they were like, "Why don't you guess what's wrong with it, or why don't you guess how to make it better and come back later?" Really, they were pushing other artists, and we only gave them the song to prove that. We wanted to know for sure if we got shelved, and they were just pushing other artists. A lot of times, if they're pushing an artist on a label, and there's a chance that you might be able to compete with that artist that they're pushing, a lot of times they won't want you to release music because they think it's going to distract people. Like, I don't know why that. Maybe 70 years ago that was true, but a lot of labels think that, if the up and coming artists, are competitive with their boutique or premium artists, then, they don't want to drive competition to their own roster. But I don't. Sepsis is such a unique kind of band. Even in the sense of like female fronted bands, I don't think we sound like anybody. Who do we sound like? You know, like who do we sound like? We don't sound like anybody. Seriously. Seriously. There might be like bits and parts that remind you of stuff. Of course, that's music. I'm sure there's parts of our song that remind you of fucking Itsy Bitsy Spider or something, or row, row, row your boat, or, I don't know, jump around. You know what I mean? Like this part, it's all related. So that's the story. No big deal. It's crazy because the time has come, for our record contracts to be up now. And for the first time in a long time, we will have full possession of our assets. But the music industry is changing so much this year that we really don't know if I think it's wise that we kind of wait a little while to decide, where the chips fall. Because the music industry is so up in the air, as you'll see in a second, that we're unsure. Like, there might be people who think we're anti-record label, and that's not true. We're just anti our record label. If there are record labels out there that probably don't have good deals, but they probably have better deals than some others that are offered. And if you ever get a great deal, then congratulations to you, the person that has a great deal. But you know what I mean? Like DistroKid's not a great deal. TuneCore's not a great deal. It's never a good deal to pay record labels money to upload your music to the internet. The whole idea of us, all musicians, giving companies and apps and developers money so we can upload music to the internet so people can listen to it for free. Can't we already do that ourselves for free? Like, why pay TuneCore, $25, for a subscription? I don't know how much it is. Why pay TuneCore for a subscription to upload your music to the internet when everybody believes that music should be free and musicians don't get paid anyways? What's the point of paying a distributor to upload your music? In the Musician Fairness Wages Act, they're asking for musicians to be paid 1 penny a stream. And I think that that's a step in the right direction. You guys are probably like, huh? No, 1 penny is a lot more than what we're getting right now. So one step at a time. But right now, the Musician Wages and Fairness Act is fighting legislatively, I don't mean like fist fighting in the parking lot. They are arguing on musicians' behalf to get paid for the government to take control and to make sure that musicians get paid a musician's minimum wage. They want to make a musician's minimum wage. Yeah. Let me read some of y'all, because what the hell's going on with this? Why is there not this thing here? Can you guys see that? Uh-oh. Has that been black the whole time? I'm going to have to go get Metaverse Melissa. Has that been black the whole time, you guys? Oh, shit. I better go get... John, oh my goodness. Hold on, I got to go get the producer. All right. That is so fucking crazy that's been black the whole time. And I didn't even notice it. Good thing you guys are listening to me. And I would have left already. All right, so two things. Two things, because I just want to wrap this up. That John, we can talk a little bit more about the musicians minimum wage. If you want me to, I've covered it several times, but I can cover it again tomorrow. There's a whole bunch of new information on that. I didn't put it up today because like normally I try to cover the top 5 to 10 stories in music. How and you know that wasn't one of them. People don't care about musicians getting paid. But if you'd like me to, I love going over the musicians' minimum wage proposal. I love it. I think it's amazing, and we could talk about that in a moment. But just to finish up that last story, next year in August, our band will receive full restored rights to all of our catalog and all of our assets, and that's why we haven't really released music as much until that that has been finalized and our contracts and our obligations to third parties have been completed. That's why we have been really reluctant, to release more music through third-party distributors or independent distributors, and especially our record label, for God's sakes. So basically, we wanted to release the You Already Know song, and our record label got mad. So I told them that I was going to release it anyway, and it seemed like they understood that until I released it and put out a press release, and then our record label flipped the fuck out, man. We were having all type of fights and emails and all type of other shit. It was crazy. I almost brought it out here. But everybody knows how terrible our record label is. Everybody in the music industry, in the rock and roll industry, knows how terrible those people are. I'll be right back, all right? No, they're just talking to me. They don't care. I mean, you could take it two ways. You could say nobody cares, or you could say everybody really loves me on here and they didn't mind.
Okay.
What do I do?
Under
Sources?
under sources, scroll down to see window capture.
Window. Gotcha.
Right click properties.
Why don't you show me how to do this once? I'm going to know how to do it.
And then first bar there, click that.
This thing?
Yep. Click the one that's visible.
And then okay.
Okay.
Oh, wow. I know how to do it. Does it work like that every time?
As long as you have those pages open and not minimized, it should work.
Okay, cool. I'm one of those people. Once you show me like 1 to 3 times, I can play the violin. This is the way I am. Unless I'm really terrified of like whatever I'm doing, I might ask again. If I'm really unsure of what I'm doing, I might ask a couple more times. Okay, all right. So, John, let me just get you plugged in now. Let me get you plugged in. Okay. John, do you have I have an electric violin. Oh shit. God damn. Wow, you put me on the spot now, John. I tried to play the violin once. It was so fucking terrible. Because I thought it was like a guitar, I'm like, give me that fucking thing. I'm going to shred that fucking thing. And I tried it, and I was like, oh, gosh, that's awful. You know what I mean? I thought I was going to start shredding it. You know what part I do get is like the left. I get the like the fingering. You know, I don't really need. I don't really need a fret. I'm thinking of trying like fretless guitar someday, because I'm pretty accurate at just getting to where I need to go. The thing that fucked me up was that goddamn bow. So then I threw the bow away, and I'm like, I'm gonna finger pick this motherfucker. But it didn't really work out either. Yo, I was like, I'm gonna shred this motherfucker, and then I couldn't, and everybody looked at me like, what the hell are you doing with that? You don't know what you're doing with that. It was funny. So now, but I tell you what, I would battle a violin player though. Like, you know what I mean? Like if a violin player wanted to like do a duel against me, I can make my guitar sound like a violin. And then the violinist could have a chance to shred me up. But that's what I would do. William Savant versus violinist. I don't mind if I lose. I just want to take him on. I believe I could take him on. Okay, ready? Here we go. John, check it out. The devil went up to... Yo, oh yeah, that's probably where I thought of that. All right, so, John, take this down, all right? The UMAW, United Musician Allied Workers. Can you guys remember that? So, the United Musician and Allied Workers, in conjunction with Representative Rashida Tlaib and Jamal Bowman, present Make Streaming Pay. See it? That's not a marijuana leaf. I know it looks like it. It's not. Please write this down, everybody. Some people think I'm the only creator that does all this. No. There's probably about 100 of us that are on this mission right now. And many of us are getting our education through organizations like the United Musician Allied Workers. So if you ever wanted to know where I'm getting all these blogs from, where I'm getting all these newsletters, first, where this all started is us having a record deal and us getting screwed over and me wanting to figure out what the fuck was going on. And my producer in the beginning, and always has been giving us hints and tips along the way. So this is how I'm finding all of this. And once you start opening this stuff up, it's like opening up, corruption in religion or something. It's like opening up. I mean, once you get into this stuff and you start, it's like a lifestyle. You can't get enough of it. Once you start looking into this and seeing how unfair and fucked up it is, it's almost hard to not want to jump in the fight immediately. I'm just going to read this to you real quick. The Living Wage for Musician Act, a new additional streaming royalty directly to artists. Enough is enough. Musician workers create the enormous wealth that streaming platforms accumulate for their CEOs and investors year after year. But artists continue to be underpaid, misled, and otherwise exploited by streaming platforms. Musicians deserve a living wage. Make streaming pay. See? See what I'm saying, y'all? This isn't the stuff that I cover on here. I didn't make it up. A lot of times I think people give me a lot of credit that I don't deserve. I did not make up even my own belief system and how passionately I feel about defending musician rights and how I speak out against unfairness, gatekeeping, you know, sex crimes, stealing. I've been talking about all of these things because the organizations and allies and people that we've been learning from in the music industry, these are the topics that are important to them. You see what I'm saying? So I totally get it when these topics are not important to people, especially people that are fans of the band. I try to tell everybody, this, we do a couple of reels and we do an hour show a day. All you have to do is skip the band page for an hour. If you're really here for music, then go follow us on Spotify or somewhere else. People who have an issue with our message or our personal beliefs shouldn't follow the page for that reason, especially if it gets under your skin. Some of this stuff, hearing about poor people and homelessness, hearing about, people getting ripped off and stolen from, hearing about sex crimes, hearing about unfairness, it can be overwhelming. But that's why we only have an hour's worth of this program. I'm not on here 3 hours talking about the music industry, because if I did, it'd be like talking about wars or the drug epidemic or homelessness or anything else. We could sit up here all day and talk about it, and then people can file it under activism or complaints or whatever they want to. We'll categorize it and catalog it and tag it. But it's all of our choice to be here or not. It's all of our choice to ignore this stuff or not. It's all of our choice to be a part of it or not. This channel's for fighters. If you ain't got the backbone to fight with me, then get the fuck out. Or politely be quiet and learn with the rest of us. I don't want everybody to get out, but I do want people to be like, I want people to give it a chance and politely absorb, observe, measure, and process. That's it. All right. So that's them. You guys go check them out. If you have Instagram, especially on Facebook, follow these guys. United Musician and Allied Workers. Make streaming pay. Very important. Hold on. Let me see if I can get a little something for you guys. Where are we at here?
I'm from Motown, where our music has changed the world in so many incredible ways forever. But artists in my district and across our country are struggling to make ends meet in an industry where the money just keeps going to executives and share.
I'm sorry, I hit the thing. Let's do it again. This is the lady here.
Mr. Speaker, I'm from Motown, where our music has changed the world in so many incredible ways forever. But artists in my district and across our country are struggling to make ends meet in an industry where the money just keeps going to executives and shareholders. It would take more than 800,000 streams per month to make equivalent of $15 an hour. The vast majority of our artists are on platforms like Apple Music, Spotify. And one of the things that, even for them, they never ever get to 800,000 streams in a year. This is a big deal. Streaming now represents 84% of recorded music industry's revenue in the United States. But most of the artists who bring joy to our lives and culture aren't seeing any of it. The Living Wage for Musicians Act, which I introduced with Representative Bowman, would change that by creating a new fund that aims to pay artists at least 1 penny per stream. The bill will completely reform the music industry, supporting much more diverse set of artists, enabling more recording and touring, and sending a ripple effect throughout local economies by supporting professionals throughout the music industry. I truly encourage my colleagues to learn more about this, co-sponsor the bill, and help change artists' lives forever.
It's not just me, you guys. It's not just some middle-aged black guy in his apartment streaming and complaining about the music industry. It's not me and my girlfriend's independent band just complaining about artists not getting paid fairly. No. It's other intellectual, powerful, intelligent people on the Hill, in the House, in government, trying to get things changed so people can make a living from what they've invested their entire lives doing. Let's run it back. Let's run it back.
Mr. Speaker, I'm from Motown, where our music has changed the world in so many incredible ways forever. But artists in my district and across our country are struggling to make ends meet in an industry where the money just keeps going to executives and shareholders. It would take more than 800,000 streams per month to make equivalent of $15 an hour. The vast majority of our artists are on platforms like Apple Music, Spotify. And one of the things that even for them, they never ever get to 800,000 streams in a year. This is a big deal. Streaming now represents 84% of recorded music industry's revenue in the United States. But most of the artists who bring joy to our lives and culture aren't seeing any of it. The Living Wage for Musicians Act, which I introduced for Representative Bowman, would change that by creating a new fund that aims to pay artists at least 1 penny per stream. The bill will completely reform the music industry, supporting much more diverse set of artists, enabling more recording and touring, and sending a ripple effect throughout local economies by supporting professionals throughout the music industry. I truly encourage my colleagues to learn more about this, co-sponsor the bill, and help change artists' lives forever.
It's not just me saying
Mr.
it.
Speaker,
It's other intelligent, educated, eloquent, well thought out ideas presented by people that truly care and are invested in art and music, authenticity, ownership. There's sometimes when guys like me speak out about what's going on behind the scenes in the music industry, it's easy to look at guys like me and go, hey, man, that guy, look at him. Look at his resume. You look at who he is. Look at how small he is. Who does this guy think he is speaking on behalf of all of musicians? Who does this guy think he is? I don't think I'm nobody, but that lady right there is definitely somebody. She's in the House of Representatives. She's in the hallways of Congress. She's a representative that has gotten herself in a place where she can make conversations that lead to change. To me, that's inspiring. So when people think it's just little peasants like me, when people think that it's just unsuccessful, middle-aged failures at music that are complaining about the music industry, I want you to look at successful, smart people like that young woman right there speaking in front of all of those political leaders and lawmakers and legislators. So if I'm sitting here in my little office telling you that the music industry is unfair every day, and people laugh at me, people make jokes, even musicians defend it. Most people that defend Spotify and iTunes and Ticketmaster, when I start educating people about that, most of the people that stick up for those corporate entities are in heavy metal and rock and roll. It's a certain kind of guy. It's not chicks. It's not rappers. There's only a certain kind of person that is so brand obsessed, that is so excited to put the corporation and put the elite and put the money before humanity. There's only one kind of person that argues on behalf of Spotify before the musicians that Spotify is supposed to be protecting and paying. There's only one kind of person that does that. Everybody else, everybody else is surprisingly, everybody else gets this concept. Scott says the industry has not changed in decades, and the sad truth is it won't change in the future. I agree, bro. I agree. John says, I'm in a band that no one knows yet, but we have a problem. We have a member that thinks exposure and unpaid shows will get us more gigs. I disagree with him. Well, you guys should all watch this program, all of you. That's something we could talk about. Do you want you? That's a whole good topic right there, John. John says, I'm in a band that no one knows yet, but we have a problem. We have a member in the band that thinks exposure and unpaid shows will get us more gigs. I could do a whole episode on that. I'll tell you this, John, because we don't have time to unwrap that today. I wish I would have got to you earlier because I have a whole lesson on this. I have a whole lecture I do on exposure. The entire music industry on the independent level is based on exposure. So, the independent industry depends on independent artists paying app developers, promoters, advertisers, platforms, gizmos, and gadgets. The entire music industry at the independent level, the current independent brand is about creating applications and products that cater to independent artists that are looking to be paid in exposure. The more people that they can get to buy onto exposure, the more they can justify not paying you. Exposure doesn't pay the rent. Exposure doesn't even get you fans. You can play or open up for Ozzy Osbourne. It doesn't mean that's going to convert Ozzy Osbourne fans into your fans. If that was the case, then social media allows bands to have a maximum amount of exposure, okay? But you can't convert fans of social media into fans of your band or fans of you. Being exposed doesn't mean it's going to retain some sort of it's not going to promote a healthy career climb. You might get people to pop in and check it out or do some window shopping, sure. But I have never seen any bands at our size. We've got like 45,000 followers on Facebook. We've never played, listen to what I'm saying to you. We have 45,000 organic followers on Facebook. I swear on my mother, I have never cheated a metric. I have never botted a play. We would never, ever, ever compromise, ever consider on any person I've ever met in my life strike me dead with a lightning bolt. I have never, ever, 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 ever manipulated my social media metrics. I'll go on record and say we are the most organic, authentic band on the planet. And of course, we have small numbers. Why would we want to fake small numbers? That would be weird, right? I'll go on record and say I think that Sepsis is the most organic, authentic, algorithmic band on planet Earth. I wouldn't consider playing for a playlist. I wouldn't be if you damn near gave it to me. So the point I'm trying to make is, listen to what I'm saying. The point I'm trying to make is I have never played a festival. Listen to me. We've opened up for Static X. We've opened up for Puddle of Mud and all type of motherfuckers and Dave Ellefson. And we've gone to huge marijuana festivals and all type multi-genre festivals. We've hung out with rap stars and all type of shit. Exposure has never gotten us any friends or followers or fans of our music. Nope. We've played festivals with well over 2,000 people. We've never gotten exposure and then gotten people that like our music. We've never acquired, we've never retained. Maybe some bands do it. Good for them. What I'm saying is we have 45,000 organic followers, like on Facebook, for instance. Okay? It's not a lot, but what it is authentic. What it is organic. And out of that 45,000 people, maybe 10% of them actually like the band, right? Or would consider buying a ticket. Wouldn't you have it with all that exposure? We must have played fucking 300 shows, in the last 14 years or whatever it was. With all that exposure, the only people that wound up liking our music are people that like our music. That's it. There's no the independent sucker industry depends on artists hunting, chasing exposure. But I'm telling you, a lot of people aren't going to want to hear this. Sepsis is one of the largest New England bands of all fucking time. Not because we're great at guitar, because we're powerful or smart asses. No. What I'm saying is, in the music industry in New England, it's a small neighborhood. We have been one of the most popular bands in New England for well over 12 years that we've been doing this. We've seen them all come. We've seen them all go. Not in any time have we seen a band enter the ring. We've never seen a band enter the arena. Work for exposure, pay for exposure, play for exposure, and wind up having a long time career climb. We've never seen it. We have never seen an artist get into the music industry, achieve exposure, and somehow become successful. We've never seen it. We've never seen it. We never see people open up for Puddle of Mud and then wake up the next morning with 300 followers. It doesn't happen. Bands don't open up for other bands and then wake up the next morning and have a huge following. Look at all the bands, okay, that played Danny Wimmer Presents. Look at all the bands that played Danny Wimmer Presents, the DW Twitch band battle stuff. You guys remember that? Last year and the year before and the year before. All the bands did it. You guys know what I'm talking about. Don't act stupid now. You know, the Battle of the Bands, Danny Wimmer Presents, where all the shitty little bands on Facebook and all the crappy bands, just like mine, we all go on Danny Wimmer and we all go and we battle it out. We all battle each other for a chance to play in the parking lot at one of his little festivals. For exposure. Right? We battle each other. The most talented, emerging, really, some of the bands in the world that have probably the most promising chance at having a real future in the music industry if they did things on their own. They relinquish their independence and decide and choose to battle their neighbors, all for a chance to go to one of these festivals. They don't fucking pay you. You go there, you get to the fucking festival, you play on the smallest fucking stage at snack time. And the whole idea is that at these festivals, they've got big names like Sleep Token and Metallica and Disturbed. And they got these big names on there. And of course, that's what amateurs want to do, is they want to, instead of doing the work, why not be exposed to somebody else's audiences, right? So a lot of times the purpose of getting on the festival is for exposure. I'm not saying small bands shouldn't play festivals. I'm saying it's not about what you do. It's why you do it. I think exposure is like a byproduct, or it's like a bonus. If you're exposed, to Puddle of Mudd's fan base and a couple of them stick, then that's wonderful. That's a bonus. But if you're playing a festival, or if you're playing, bands will play for an act that they don't like. Bands will open up for bands and music that they don't appreciate, all for a chance at exposure. But you really limit, you really limit your marketing supply, because at the top of the funnel, you have your brand awareness, right? When the people at the Puddle of Mudd concert see your band, that's your brand awareness. Then you have the next tier of your marketing strategy, right? Which would be, check it out, Chad. Check it out. Say Sepsis goes and opens up for Puddle of Mudd. Okay, fantastic. We have our first tier. We have our very first tier where we meet potential customers. That's the brand awareness. That's when we're opening up at 1 o'clock p.m. and all of the people that really came there for Puddle of Mudd are surprised to see and be introduced to a band that they don't like, or or that is unheard of before. Okay, so some of them might sit through the performance. There's a percentage of them. That's your brand awareness. Now, out of that pool, okay, out of that percentage pool, maybe some of them really like the band, right? Okay, but let's be fair, just for the sake of the business model. Some of them move forward past the brand awareness level and they get to the level of consideration. You get off stage. Maybe they meet you by the merch table. That, at that point, during the funnel, is a marketing level of consideration. They have made it past the brand awareness tier, and now they've moved and considered, hey, man, I'd like to go meet these guys at the merch table. Let's see what they're about. Now, out of that percentage in that pool, how many of them move forward, okay, to being customers, right? Or maybe they buy something at the merch table. Maybe they, maybe you give them a free sticker, or maybe you encourage them to, maybe they like the band so much they strike up conversation, and then through brand awareness, and they move to consideration, and then in the third tier they become customers. They grab a hat. Now they have a hat. They have a personal connection with you. They spent money with you. They feel connected to you. Now this person has moved from a customer to checking out your social media, maybe following the page, and now they've become fans. See, there's several different levels that a person would have to be successful in to open up for Puddle of Mudd to retain their customer base. That is unlikely for people like Sepsis, who are not matching up, opening up for bands that they don't really love, fit well with, or appreciate. Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see how that comes full circle? Now, bands will open up for anyone, sacrificing the quality of the show because they can afford it. So what does this mean? It's not like talented bands open up for people. It's not like your favorite bands open up for people. Who opens up for people? The bands that can afford to pay the bands that they're opening up for. It's not like talented people win. It's not like people go to these festivals or, record. People that record music are rich people. Now, hold on. I know what you're thinking. I'm not rich. I'm saying, but I'm rich to somebody that's homeless. You're rich to somebody that has no money. If you're getting in a car today, you're rich to somebody. If you're driving to the store, you're rich to somebody. That's what I'm trying to say. The kids, the people, the dudes and the ladies that can get a band and keep it together, they can afford it. They can put the gas in the car. They can buy a wardrobe or two. Now, mind you, we work really hard here, so we might have nice wardrobes and new guitar strings, but we might not be eating, we might not be eating at the fanciest places. You know what I mean? So that's kind of like, a magnifying glass into our lives. As I explained before, we spend a lot of money and time on our music because we're at that point in our lives where we can, we don't have other things in life or like big families or small children or like other things going on. We're all at that place in life where we can all put a lot into music and enjoy it for good reasons. But I'm just showing you guys the business model and walking you down why exposure, it can be good. Don't get me wrong. And we can look at that side of it too. But nothing I said was bad news. I just wanted to show you the business model of exposure. Somebody like Sepsis just opening up for somebody like Puddle of Mudd, we're going to be exposed to a maximum amount of people. Yeah, that's fantastic. But working down the business model, what's the likelihood of us opening up for a band that doesn't sound like us or a band that's not within our demographic? If we go open up for Electric Callboy, are their fans going to resonate with us? If we go open up for Willie Nelson, is his fans going to resonate with us? They might think that we're wonderful people, but are they going to make it down that brand consideration? Are they going to make it down to at the super fan level where, they're subscribing and they're watching lives and they're buying tickets to our shows? When you talk about exposure, what's the point of paying for exposure or playing for exposure or investing in exposure if who you're being exposed to are not potential super fans? In today's world, bands like Sepsis, we don't make a living or survive on hundreds of thousands of fans. No, but what is in the modern model is the truest, most authentic and powerful fans playing a stronger role in our company, in our brand, in our product. It's really Sepsis's super fans that drive the company. And those of you that are super fans know that. You guys are the ones that are out there sharing the feeds. You guys are out there making reels and being creative with our music. You guys are out there tagging our music in your reels. You guys are out there, making TikToks and making reels and taking clips of our videos and our podcasts. You guys are doing that. You guys creating with our creations. You guys are making that work. You guys that are subscribing to us. You guys that are sending us stars. You guys that are tuning in and commenting and leaving reactions and posting us on your stories. You guys are the ones that are responsible for making Sepsis work. Dead ass. Like I'm being for real. This is marketing. This is basic, like social media, digital music marketing stuff. I promise you, it's not rocket science. But the modern day business model for independent and DIY acts like Sepsis is authenticity. Us having our community really strong. That's why we have our own website. That's why we have our own safe places where we can hang out with people and spend time with people. Because Sepsis we're kind of like a gift shop. And the music and the podcast and everything else is kind of like our business card and our conduit and our connection with people. So think of us like a mobile media music gift shop, kind of, We are a direct-to-consumer DIY media source. We're not just a band. We're not just podcasters. We're not just streamers and gamers and all that. We do a lot of different stuff. We make flyers. We do art, advertising, acting. So there's a lot of things that we're doing. And plus, we have other jobs. Yeesh. But I'm just showing you that after all the people that we have opened up for, after all the magazines that we've been in, after all the different genres and contributions that we've made throughout the years, I promise you that exposure, it is important. I don't want to ignore it. But in our experience, exposure is only good when you can acquisition ticket goers and subscribers. Exposure is great if you can walk away with an acquisitional percentage that makes it beyond the brand awareness and consideration funnel. That's all I got to say about it. Hans says RPM Fest is ridiculous. I don't know. I don't know nothing about him, brother. I couldn't say nothing about it. I do know who you're talking about. You're talking about Propellerhead Entertainment. I know everything about music, as you know. So RPM Fest, I believe you can cross-reference it. I just know because I'm like a music. You know what I mean? I'm like a library. You guys want to know who's doing what? So Hans just said RPM Fest is ridiculous. I don't know what he means by that. Maybe he could teach us all. You want to share some of that with the class? I didn't even get to the class yet. Is RPM Fest ridiculous? You'll have to shed some light on that. Are there any bands that have played RPM Fest? Here's the thing. RPM Fest to me is like Capulet Fest. I don't know enough about them where I can comment on it at this time. They are both festivals that take place in New England. So anytime there's a New England festival, I look at all the New England bands and I watch how they're handling it. So let's say there's like 300 New England metal bands and a new hard rock and heavy metal festival in New England comes out or is presented. I always watch whoever is throwing a festival in New England. I watch how many New England bands they book. That's the first thing I see. I look at, if you're a company and you're throwing a festival or having a hard rock and metal show in New England, I wait and I see how many neighbors, families, and musicians that festival is going to contribute to in New England. That's the first thing I do. I skip over all the celebrities. I skip over all the rock stars and I look at the small names on the flyer and I count. If this festival's being held in Connecticut, I look how many Connecticut bands that festival is booking. If the festival's held in Rhode Island, say it's the hardcore heavy metal festival in Rhode Island, I look at the small names on the bill. I skip past the celebrities and I look up how many bands are from New England and from Rhode Island that are playing this. And then the next thing I do is I watch how the bands respond to how many bands are playing in their neighborhood. And I just keep watching. And I just keep watching. And I just keep watching. Wait a minute. What did you say? What did you just say, Hans? You said RPM Fest is a pay-to-play event. You have to qualify to be in the festival? What are you talking about? Now you got my attention. So, you heard what I just said earlier? I said I would watch and I would see and I would wait to see what New England bands were playing the festival. That's what I would do. And I would write down the names of those bands. And then I would find out if the festival was pay to play or not. So I could find out all the people that are cheating. And I'll write all their names down. Yeah, so when I find these festivals, what I do is the festivals in New England, if they have some sort of a financial agreement with the bands that are coming to New England, I don't even feel like that's my business. I really don't. I'm going to keep it real, though. If you have a festival and you're hosting it in New England and you're not booking New England bands, it's probably because it's a pay-to-play relationship. That's what I'm saying. So, like, okay, so if you see a New England festival and you don't see the most popular bands in New England playing it, if you look on the independent level and you're like, hey, here's a New England metal festival, there's 100 bands on it, skip over all the celebrities and then look at the small names on the bill. If the small names on the bill are not from New England, then, I mean, it's probably, the other argument there is if they're having a New England concert and there are no bands playing from New England, then is it a New England concert at all? I mean, I don't know. I've always thought that. Like if you have, Boston music scene live showcase, okay, great. So bring on the Boston bands then. Like if you had Portsmouth Music Showcase, or let's do it like this: Manchester, New Hampshire Rock and Roll Showcase. I mean, are you expecting to see bands from Texas? Like they get up there like fucking. Welcome to Texas. Like it's not gonna be like that. Be for real. You feel what I'm saying? I look. I think if I was doing, I'm just going to speak for myself. That's the best way to handle this. We do Swarmy Fest every year. Okay? Swarmy Fest is a New England and New Hampshire rock and roll, hard rock, and heavy metal fest. We do 2 stages. And I think this year we're trying again for 11 bands. It's a fast show. The show's quick. The stages flip-flop back and forth. They're quick sets. It's a lot of action. But we do it at Club Jewel, 2 stages, 1 roof. We do it every year. We pack the house. When we get band submissions for Swarmy Fest in New England, we always get hundreds. We get all kinds of power metal bands, death metal bands, new metal, hard rock, rock and roll. Even sometimes rappers throw their name in the hat. I don't blame them. What I'm saying is, when I book that show, as much as I love bands from Connecticut and New York and Baltimore, believe me, there's been some of those bands I've wanted to book myself. But when it comes to us booking Swarmy Fest or any shows in town, we try to always take care of a handful of bands in town, a handful of bands in that area. It's important for us to drive a generous amount of value and contribution to that area. You know, like when we play Chicago, we book Chicago bands. You know, when we play PA, we book bands from PA with us. You know what I mean? And same thing. I know a lot of bands, I feel bad sometimes because a lot of bands want to come and play with us from out of town. And I'm always explaining to them, it's hard to do because we only do Swarmy Fest once a year, and we always get over 150 submissions every year. And out of that, I have to pick 11 bands. And out of that 11 bands, a handful of them got to be from Manchester and New Hampshire, because I'm not ignoring the people that are in town and the people that are driving value to the town every day. You feel what I'm saying? So when you said RPM Fest, I don't got nothing to say about it, other than I hope that they continue to book New England bands. I know there's been a couple New England bands in the past on RPM Fest. My question is, why don't larger festivals like RPM Fest, why doesn't RPM Fest book the largest New England bands? Can somebody tag them? Somebody tag RPM Fest and let's find out if RPM Fest is presented as an independent, as far as I can remember. It's a independent New England. I think it's advertised as an independent in New England showcase. So, I mean, if RPM Fest is a New England showcase and that's part of the brand, then my question would be, why not have the biggest, most popular and successful New England bands on RPM Fest? You know what I mean? It's weird. It's just like New England Hardcore Festival. I think the top band should be from New England, whatever that is, what Kill Switch Engage or something like that, right? That's probably the biggest New England band. So it's like, you know what I mean, when they have, you know, New England Metal Fest or whatever it is, it should have New England bands on it. Just like if it said Texas Metal Fest, they should have like Texas Hippie Coalition or something, you know? You feel what I'm saying? If it was Portsmouth Fest, why would you have somebody from Delaware headline that shit or whatever? It doesn't make sense. So that's the only thing I say is, like, with the RPM Fest thing, like I said, I've never been to one, so I'm in no position to tell you what the quality is or to cast any judgment. One thing that I've noticed, because I'm fans of all things New England and rock and roll, I've noticed a lack of upper tier New England bands, like, you know what I mean, like Dead by Wednesday or Casting Shadows, or, you know what I mean, or like Inverter. You don't see any of those bands up there. You know what I mean? Those are big, like, I don't know, Kings and Liars. Let me think of some other one. I mean, now I'm drawing a blank. But you don't see bigger New England acts at RPM Fest. Why? Like, why? I don't know. And then, like, I don't know. I've never known I don't know any bands that have performed at RPM Fest and gotten paid or exposed or whatever, you know? So I don't know. I don't know. Let's see what they do this year. I hope with festivals like RPM Fest and Capulet Fest, because they're using that New England, you know, branding. I just hope that they take care of the most qualified New England bands. And as far as I would like to respond to Hans. Hans, how did you hear about the pay to play with them? Scott says, man, if I was in a band, I would go to the gig for the love of the music, not exposure, for the experience of being on a stage in front of many people. Yeah, and Scott, the other thing is exposure can be a part of the menu. You know what I mean? It's kind of like guacamole or something. You know, it's like salsa. You know, you make some money at the merch table. You meet all your friends. Like we're going to Rockfest, for instance, right? So we're playing Rockfest. We're opening up for Jelly Roll, and we're playing on Saturday. It's a big night for us. We've never played in front of this amount of people before, but we're not playing with the hope of exposure. In fact, a lot of our fans are going. So like the reason why we're playing Rockfest isn't for exposure. We're playing Rockfest, and we'll take a little exposure on our side. You know what I mean? With the salsa and guacamole. Like, of course, we're going to be exposed to new, human beings. But we're not hoping to run into that brand consideration, and we're not trying to win over those fans until they've become fans of our music. You feel what I'm saying? So what we are hoping to do is play music in front of people, and the people that we can play music in front of, we're not trying to really convert or expose ourselves, but rather than having a little bit of exposure on the side. Our plan to go for Rockfest is so we can meet up with our fans in the Midwest. We don't get a lot of chances to hit Midwest. When we do, we like to make a big power move on it. So Rockfest was so perfect for us because of the timing, and it's just it's that time where we haven't been to the Midwest in a while, and we were looking for a way to meet up with everybody and maximize that experience, and Rockfest is that time. You feel what I'm saying? Now, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with a little exposure on the side. You feel what I'm saying? But it's not the priority. We're doing a lot of things that weekend. We're shooting content. We're shooting a movie. We're shooting music videos. Like, we're doing everything. It's not. So Scott, you got that right, brother. Sean says the bomb shelter used to do pay to play, but after so many ticket sales, you could keep some of the money, but it still sucked, he says. I remember a few times I had to buy tickets off myself. Yeah, no, I did that too. That ain't nothing to be ashamed of. We did the same thing. We used to do the same thing. That's like the New England thing. Like, that used to be the thing. Like, and that was always the complaint, is the rich kids get to play. And basically I was in one of those bands too, where we could buy 200 tickets off of ourselves and then give them to our friends. And then people would be like, you guys are fucking rich, man. Because, we were terrible. Like, we were awful. People who think we're bad now, like if you've ever been to a Sepsis show and you're like, oh man, those guys suck. Okay. No, we used to really suck. Like, for real. And the thing is like, we knew we sucked. So we used to pay to play. You know what I mean? Like, we knew that, like, if we bought all the tickets, the guys at the Palladium would let us play. And that's what we did. We cheated. Dude, and all the bands were better than us. All the bands that could kick our ass, all the bands that could play better than us. This is how I tell you guys that the game is rigged. This is how I tell you guys about crime. This is how you tell, because I've been in prison. This is how I tell you, because I've been on parole. This is how I tell you guys, because I've been, I've been an alcoholic. I've been, you know what I'm saying? I'm telling y'all that we used to do the same stuff in the music industry because we didn't know no better. We were just young people. And whatever we weren't good at in the music industry, we paid for. And here's the problem. Nobody liked us because of it. It was an asshole thing. I can remember all the bands being like, why do you guys get to play? And why do you guys get to? And I tell them all the time, because we bought the tickets. That's why I'm against pay to play. Because the issue is talented people don't get credit, rich people get credit, and rich people can't be satisfied. That's the issue, guys. Yo, I better read this article, man. Actually, I don't have to. Why do I have to? We've been talking the whole time, just us. I don't have to do anything. I'm already having the show. You guys are the show. Why am I all worried and paranoid about not doing the news? We've had a good conversation. What the fuck? We don't need anything else. All right, so Han says, any bands that we've played with, I've never heard them on the bill for RPM Fest. Oh, shit. Yo, Hans, you make up a good point. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. Hans says, damn, yo, that's a good point. Hans says, any bands that Sepsis has ever played with we've never heard them playing on the bill for RPM Fest. Woo, you're gonna get me started. We could look into this. We'll see what happens. We're gonna keep watching. I tell you, that's why we're watching everything. They might end up on the hot seat. RPM Fest. Wow, well, let's keep an eye on them. They're probably let's wish the best for them. I think that they will probably learn as time goes on. They'll probably learn as time goes on that it's best to have a good amount of New England bands playing. We should go check, Hans, and go see how many New England bands played last year. I don't want to say something that's not true. That's not fair. But you do make a good point. And we can only hope that they continue to book New England bands. I said the same thing for Capulet Fest when I seen them. I said, oh, who's the little Capulets? I said, oh, cool, we're going to keep an eye on them. Yeah, you heard me. We're going to keep an eye on them. Yeah, if you guys hear of anybody, if you guys hear any bands out there that have played RPM Fest, or any bands out there that have played Capulet Fest and can speak on their behalf, let us know that they're doing the right thing. Let us know that they're great platforms for New England bands. That way we could give them a grade of respect and encouragement, right? That's fair. We got to be fair. I'm currently, even though I've been in the music industry in New England for 20 years, I have not yet heard or met any bands who have played at Capulet Fest or RPM Fest. I don't know any New England bands that can vouch for them today. Not that I know of. I'm not saying that they don't exist. I'm not saying that I'm special. I'm saying to send me a message. That is so funny, Hans. No one's slowing you down, Hans. Hans, you go tell me how many New England bands played RPM Fest this year. How many New England bands are playing New England Hardcore Fest, and how many New England bands are playing Capulet Fest? How many Connecticut bands are playing Capulet Fest? You guys are going to get me on some shit. Don't start. We turn that stone. We can't ever turn it back. Scott says, John, that's how I was raised and taught. I was taught a long time ago, just because you play a gig doesn't mean you become a rock star the next day. And you know what can also prove that, Scott? People who think that playing for exposure is going to get them a fan base. It doesn't work. Okay. Look at all the bands that played Danny Wimmer Presents Twitch battles. They all played those battles for a chance at exposure. Sepsis has never played one of those festivals. Look at all the bands that have played those festivals. None of those bands, despite the exposure, are any more successful than we are, a band that hasn't played it. Proven right there. All of the bands that fit within our demographic that have played those festivals have not acquisitionally garnered any more followers than we have. So what did exposure get them? Look at all the bands that play huge festivals every year at our level. They're not surpassing us in anything. We all have the same fans. I'll tell you what would get exposure. You guys want to know what would get exposure? If bands really cared about playing for exposure, and that was a good enough reason to not get paid for streaming or playing at large festivals, if exposure was truly the big priority and value behind all these bands playing like that, then why don't all the most promising bands that believe in exposure all organize a festival together for the maximum amount of exposure? Why don't all the most successful, potentially new wave, the most potentially successful, promising bands on social media at our level that believe that exposure is that valuable, why don't we all organize a festival just ourselves? You feel what I'm saying? Oh shit! Let me hold up. You guys, now you got me in on something now. Uh-oh. We might have to put some music on. Don't we all wish when we were a kid that we could wind up like the artists we were influenced by? The odds of that happening are slim to none. Not to mention, we were also confused and misunderstood about these artists too. A lot of them are broke. A lot of them are addicted. A lot of them are afflicted. A lot of them are chasing down mechanical royalties and, 3 divorces and 8 kids. It's not always cookies and fucking cream. Oh, what do we got here? You sent me the list, man. How many of those bands are 1, 2. I see one. I see one. Right now, I only see one New England band. I ain't gonna lie to you, but I'm looking quickly. You don't want. We might have to take this up on Instagram after this. You guys want to do an investigation? All right. Me too. I was taught a long time ago. Yeah, this is the middle-aged club in here. You gotta have an ID to get in this fucking room. Ooh, Carrie told you that? Oh, that's a reliable source. How did Carrie? Well, wait a minute. You guys, you know, what are you saying? They're having New England bands pay to play that festival? Is that what you're telling me? Is what you're telling me that are you telling me? Please don't reveal this to me, because if you do, you know what this is going to open up. Are you telling me that a New England festival is making New England bands pay to play in their own hometown? Is that what you're trying to tell me? Let me find out that there is a New England music festival or company that is making New England artists pay to play music in their own hometown and region. Let me find out that you're out there and you're going to be on this program. You will be next. Let me catch you. If you are a promoter, you better hide. You better run from me. If you are a promoter or you are a big festival, I don't give a fuck if you're a celebrity or a media mogul. If I find out that I don't give a fuck what genre you're in, if I find out that you are a music promoter in New Hampshire or in New England, if you are a festival, if you are running showcases, and you are making New England neighbors and residents pay to play their music, I'm coming to get you. I'm coming to get you. I'm coming to get you. Know that for sure. You better look the fuck out and hope I don't find out. You better hope I don't find out. If you are a promoter and you're making bands pay to play, if you want to do that in New York, I have no say. If you want to do that in Texas, that's fine. If you want to do that somewhere else, that's fine. This is my neighborhood. This is sepsis wasp country. I'm telling you right now, this is murder hornet country. If we find out, buzz, motherfucker, if we find out any rock and roll, hardcore, heavy metal, I don't give a fuck what type of genre you're in. If we find out that you're exploiting regional and local artists and making them pay a fee to play at your festival, and Sepsis finds out, we're coming to get you. We're going to come and get you, and we're going to run a press release on it too. We're going to get you. We're going to get you. That's a fucking promise. If I find out you're in New Hampshire or you're in New England and you're exploiting or taking from artists and stealing from artists by making them pay a fee to play music on your stage, we're coming to get you. We're going to find out about it. We're going to get all the details, and everyone in the neighborhood is going to know exactly what you're up to. Be careful. I'd be careful with that one. I don't get tired. I don't give up. Some places in New Jersey still do this on pay to play. Yeah, I know that. That's why we don't play in Jersey. We don't play a lot in Jersey unless they pay us. Then we come to New Jersey. That's usually when we come. So the reason why we have venues and promoters pay us, because when we tour, we bring a crowd. You know, we're not fucking celebrities, but we don't book big. We don't book arenas. We don't book big venues either. So like the places we book are big enough for our crowd. So Steve said, truthfully, the best exposure is word of mouth. He's right. He's right. You don't pay for that. It's actually priceless. Scott says, it will destroy you and the confidence you have in yourself if you are in it. The exposure, the fame, the money. You are in the wrong business. Oh, my God. Scott, just move to New England, bro, and join the crew. Actually, no, Scott, you're our New York chapter. We need to put a flag everywhere. Yo, Brandon, that is fucked. Wow, pay to play in your own backyard. Dude, I can understand. Now look. I can understand there's a big festival in New Jersey. In order for Sepsis to play it, we don't have any fans. We got to give them a couple bucks. Okay, I understand. You got to grease the wheels and all that other stuff. There's a part of that I can compromise with. I do not compromise with bands from New Hampshire or New England playing. Excuse me. I can't even fucking think. I can't even think about it. I can't even say it. And you see what I mean? I'm having a hard time even saying it. Guys, I don't care if there is a pay-to-play business model for bands in Texas. Fantastic. If there is a pay-to-play business model in Philadelphia, I don't think it's a great idea, but that's Philly, okay? That's California. Some people say that it's pay-to-play at the Whiskey A Go-Go. I heard that no matter who you are, it's pay-to-play at Whiskey A Go-Go. But when it comes to Sepsis, it's Whiskey A No-No. We would never even consider it. So even though people love a Whiskey A Go-Go and that's supposed to be like some cool thing, I don't give a fuck if the place burns down. I said it's Whiskey A No-No. We will not pay to play. Not no Whiskey A No-No. Thank you. So that's the thing. New Jersey can do it. California can do it. I don't care. Do what you want to do. But I'm going to tell you why I have such a strong and passionate vibe about New England. I have a strong stance about New Hampshire. That's because we are 3-time New England Music Award winners in New Hampshire. We are also one of the longest living, longest lasting hard rock and heavy metal bands in the industry here in New England. So it is my responsibility. It is my quest. it is within my truth and virtue to say loudly, boldly from the rooftops, if you are an organization or a festival that is making, manipulating, or encouraging bands that live in New England or in New Hampshire to pay you to perform music on your stage, and I find out about it, you're coming on this program. And we are going to tear it to bits and explain to you what is wrong with it. We are going to take it apart piece by piece and show everyone how self-destructive that is to everyone playing a part in the New England community. It is my job. I'm most qualified. I'm old enough. My resume speaks for itself. And we have the follower base. If you are in New England and you don't want people to find out about the bullshit you're doing in hard rock and heavy metal, you better not let me find out. That's it. That's it. Do whatever you want everywhere. If you want in Florida, you guys got your own thing. If you want to do heavy metal over there in Mississippi, you guys do whatever you want. But if you are in New England and you are a New England band, I don't give a fuck if you're blues or hip hop or whatever the fuck you are, you come and let me know. And I'll be the voice for the voiceless. I got the follower base. We'll do it like that. If you are a company in New England and you are abusing or exploiting my neighbors, my musicians, the people that live here in the cities and neighborhoods that make New England amazing, the people here that are trying to make a living, and I find out that you're making these bands pay to play, or you're making musicians pay to be on your stage, and we find out about it, you're going to be in an advertisement over here. You're going to be in a fucking advertisement. You're going to become a sepsis advertisement. Yep. So duck. If you're watching this, duck. Show your friends, duck. Make reels, pass it around on Messenger. If you're one of those promoters, you better duck. I ain't 20 years old. I don't give a fuck what you kids are doing. You better duck. John said, I'd rather never be known or heard than pay to play in your own town. That's what you'll be known for. You'll be known, all right. You'll be known for paying, 30-year-old kids to play music on your own stage. Imagine that shit. I'm not paying no boys. I'm not paying none of these people to play, in my own town. Steve Jordan says that's some balls deep bullshit. It is. There's a huge application process to the festival. Hans, if you can show me the application to that festival, if they're making people spend money on completing that application process, please send me screenshots of that. I don't like picking fights, but like I said, anyone that is accepting submission fees for a festival, especially, that's even worse because that's pay to maybe not play. Steve, you want to be the New Jersey chapter of the Swarm? You can't punk out. That's the only thing, bro. Like, this is some serious shit. We're going to have to make this official, you guys. Yo, Steve, that's a big commitment. Yeah, we need a flag in every major. So like Scott can be the New York City Swarm ambassador. He's got the chapter in NYC. Steve can be the ambassador in New Jersey. You feel what I'm saying? We need to do it. We need to do it like that. But here's the thing, and I'll tell all of you guys, Sepsis in the Swarm is a lifetime membership. Don't even bother joining if you ain't got the heart or if you ain't got the strength for a lifetime membership. See, what I tell people all the time is don't join ICG and don't join you don't have to join ICG or the Swarm to be a member. You don't. You don't have to join to like the band. You don't have to join to be my friend. You don't have to do that. But the only people who should join the swarm in ICG are people that have a lifetime commitment, people that are ready to die, people that are ready to die for what they believe in, go to jail for what they believe in, people who are ready to speak out loud, people who are ready to work hard, people who are ready to unite. The swarm is not for lazy people. The swarm, ICG, is not for people that want to be secretly supportive. The swarm, we swarm. This is a public swarm. We swarm publicly. I don't like secret fans. I don't even like, the fans that come in the back hall go, hey man, I really like your shit. No. The swarm, ICG, my crew, Williams crew, is for people with voices. Williams crew is for people with courage. I'm not secret fans of you guys. I'm a public fan of you. No more the secret fan shit. No more the secret brotherhood shit. I'm up front. We put it on the table. We move through it. We work it out together. We're not separated by what makes us different. We're united by it. We all have something to contribute. But let's make one thing clear. This is no weekend warrior bullshit. Do not join the club unless you believe in your heart that you have the full strength to die in the club. Because the club is a lifetime commitment. You don't join the swarm. There's no revolving doors around here. That's it. Just like every family, people that have been here for a long time know that we have ups and downs. But, when everybody runs away, the people that running towards you are your real friends. And you guys keep running towards me, and I'm going to keep running towards you. When it's easy to be part of something. It's easy to be part of the band. It's easy to be part of the crew. It's easy to be part of the club when everything's going well. It's easy to be independent. It's easy to be, it's easy to be part of the group when things are fun and everyone's celebrating. But that's what I'm here to tell you. There's no weekend warrior shit with this. Only the most authentic and realest motherfuckers with me in life know that my friendships are a lifetime commitment. My groups are a lifetime commitment. So anytime you seen anybody running out of my life, it's they broke that contract. You feel me? Anytime you seen somebody running away from me, it's because that they were avoiding a public conversation. You hear what I said? Anybody that's ever ran away from me, all they were doing was trying to avoid a public conversation that we would have to have in public in front of everybody. Wings and Stingers up. Yo, the NYC chapter is here. That's what I'm saying. Once you start a chapter in New York, it's got to be there. Once you plant the flag in New Jersey, it's got to be there. You're in charge. You're the fucking ambassador. That means if it falls, if it fails, well, whose responsibility is that? Because you've declared that this is what you're going to do. You put purpose and meaning and cognitive purposeness behind what you do, who you are, what you're saying. All right, gentlemen, we got a plan. I'll be back tomorrow with more music news. Hey, if you guys have stories that you want me to cover, there's a lot of shit right now. Tomorrow, I'm going to try to just I love the fact that we got to chop it up today. But tomorrow, we've got to get in on this. Let me show you what it is, though. Let me show you what it is. Look, we got to get into it tomorrow. We got to get into it. This is what our group is founded on, you guys, is knowledge. And without the knowledge, we don't have all the tools. We don't have all the, I don't want to say, we're not going to have all the tools. We're not going to have all the information, on call for us. What we can use is to help other people. The U.S. Department of Justice expected to file a lawsuit against Live Nation and Ticketmaster this week. Nearly 40% web pages from 10 years ago are no longer accessible. Sexual violence, NDAs in the music industries. This is insane. I can't wait to go over this. Elon Musk will soon remove public likes. Sony Music sues Marriott Hotels for rampant copyright infringement in social media posts. This shit is crazy. Oh my goodness. There's a new streaming bundle. It'll cost $15 a month for Comcast, and they're putting everything into it. Netflix, Apple TV. People are outraged. Spotify immediately responds to the Mechanical Licensing Collective lawsuit. They're not backing down, so it's the MLC versus Spotify. That's not supposed to be in there. Yeah, so we got a lot. There's a lot. It's not over. Tearceps is on my show. Oh, damn. Hell yeah. Thank you, Steve. That's huge. Thank you so much. We got new music coming out, and you know, all of our partners and affiliates and radio stations that play our music, of course, will have Bathwater first soon. If you're a subscriber, if you're a Swarmy, if you're a Swarm Commander, or if you're one of our partners or affiliates, you're going to get our music first before Spotify, before distributors, before everybody. We make sure that our fans get our music first. That's just something that we do. No one else does that. You guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Tomorrow I'll try to be a little bit earlier. Send me articles you'd like me to cover. 10:30 tomorrow, William versus the World, music industry, technology, and social media news. It's coming. Yeah, be safe, you guys.